Hi friends, thanks for the joining the session. Today we are going to see that technical overview of IBM MQ. What is an IBM MQ? IBM MQ is a robust messaging middleware. It simplifies and accelerates the integration of diverse applications and business data across the multiple platforms. IBM MQ facilitates that reliable, assured and secure exchange information of data between the applications, systems, services and file by sending and receiving message data via messaging queues. So this is a small definition of IBM MQ. So how we are going to relate our IBM MQ, we are going to use into our real-time businesses. I mean to say in enterprise business. IBM MQ is a EAI tool, Enterprise Application Integrator. So most of the enterprise companies which is commonly facing problem is integration. So IBM MQ which is facilitates that integration is very easy. So I mean to say, if two business systems they wanted to communicate each other, if you do not have an IBM MQ or any MQ tool to make a communication between the two different business systems, I have to build a common interface to understand the two business systems. Building a common programming interface which is very costly, because of in a organization there are multiple applications will be existed. Each application they wanted to communicate one business system to another business system. When there are two business systems they want to communicate, I have to prepare an adapter. The same way, I have 1,000 application, 1,000 system, 1,000 business applications are existed. All 1,000 business systems applications they wanted to communicate each other. Preparing a adapter or preparing a interface for this all 1,000 applications is very complex task, which is very tedious task. Okay, and most of the companies are spending a lot of money for the integration purpose only. Now integration of the business applications is very complex task actually. So most of the companies are facing problem is integration. So here MQ is simplifying the integration. So integration of one business application to another business application is very easy if you are using as a MQ. Okay, so here, so when you are going to use an IBM MQ, what are the advantages which is providing by the IBM MQ? So if you see that not only IBM MQ, there are other vendors also existed in market, but why we are going to use only IBM MQ? Because IBM MQ is providing the main facility is it can be deployed on any operating system. So IBM MQ can be deployed on any operating system. So I mean it is a platform independent operating system. So you can be run our MQ on any operating system. So this is the one advantage. The next advantage is, let me draw a diagram. The first advantage is which is a platform independent. The second one is assured delivery. And it will support asynchronous and synchronous both, and it will support once and only once delivery, once and only once delivery, and it will support secure, reliable and high available support. and it can be act as a common programming interface. Common programming interface, and you will support time independent. Time independence, and the integration is very easy. I mean to say any application can able to integrate. There is no program independent or application independent. There is no application dependent. Application dependent. And the next one is it can support for the application parallelism. Okay. Apart from that, if you raise a PMR to the IBM, IBM is providing that 24/7 support. If we raise a PMR to the IBM team, IBM is providing that support. Depends on the SLA, depends on the ticket severity. They will be providing the 24/7 support, so that if you are facing any kind of issue, they will assist you. They will help you by providing the fix, by providing the solution. So these are the main advantages to which we are taking as a IBM MQ as one interface in our business. So when you are going to ask your client, why I have to use only IBM MQ? We have so many other vendors are there, like Active MQ, JBoss MQ, Sun MQ, so like the TIPCO. There are so many vendors, outside vendors they are providing. But why we are going for only IBM MQ means IBM MQ has the capacity. So these are the different types of advantages. So which we are going to take the IBM MQ as an interface between the two different business systems, or to integrate the two different business systems as an integrator. So that's why we are going to choose as a IBM MQ as a enterprise application integrator. So this will communicate any program or any application. If you want to communicate, so using this IBM MQ, we are able to communicate. We are able to integrate two different business systems. Okay. So coming to the IBM MQ software, so which is providing in the different types of operating systems. So the latest version of MQ is IBM MQ 8.0. Earlier, IBM MQ is which is a WebSphere family. So till MQ 7.0, 7.5, we used to call as a WebSphere MQ. Till MQ 7.5 or even 7.5 or still MQ 7.5, we used to call as a WebSphere MQ. But after MQ 8.0 version, so we are calling as a IBM MQ, which is renamed, which is rebranded to the IBM MQ. Now, so simply we will call as a MQ. So the latest version of MQ is 8.0. So we will be discussing about even 7.5 and 7.0 version also. We will be going through that next sessions. We are going to see these the different versions like MQ 7.0 and 7.5 and 8.0. These are different types of versions we are going to work. Okay. So IBM MQ is providing that there are two types of softwares. One is that MQ server software. The second one is MQ client software. MQ client software. There are two types. So MQ server is the components which is providing that there are so many objects. MQ server is providing that. So which can able to create a queue manager, we can able to create a queues, objects, everything we can able to provide using MQ server. So IBM MQ server is that licensed one. We have to buy the licensing. So depends on that per unit, which is a processor per unit. So based on that one, IBM will cost that licensing. Okay. So it has to be licensing for MQ server. So we have development evaluation also. It can be a 90 days trial period. So after 90 days again we have to reinstall that MQ software. So if you have take a MQ client software, which is a freeware, so you can take this, you can download MQ client software from that IBM site, and you can able to use MQ client as a integration, as a communicator, which is from our client application to the MQ server. So MQ client doesn't have these MQ objects, which is just small component which is used to communicate to the queue managers. So one queue manager or a different queue managers. So this is about the MQ software. So this MQ software can be installed on Windows, Linux, Solaris, AX and HP UX and mainframe. So these are the systems where we are going to install our MQ client or MQ server. So this can be installed on these many operating system, which is IBM is recommending that to install the MQ software into these operating systems. Okay, in our training session we are going to be explain installation on Windows, Linux and Solaris system, and I will provide you that material how to install that AX, HP UX and mainframe systems also. And we are going to deal that administration also on distributed environment like Windows, Linux and Solaris. Okay, and I will help you that how to do even mainframe also. So I will provide the screenshot of the mainframe, so it will help you that how to do the administration part using the mainframe also, okay. So today we will see that, so what is a message, say what is a queue. So what is the definition of message and what is the definition of queuing. So MQ transfer, a messaging and queuing, right? So what is meant by messaging and what is meant by queuing? A message is a string of bytes. It contains a meaningful information, so which is used to talk to the one business system to the another business system. What is a message? Message plus queuing. A message is a string of bytes. It contains a meaningful information, so which is used to communicate one business system to another business system. So this is called a message. What is queuing? Queuing is nothing but an application is the source application which is sending a message to the buffer. So MQ is providing that one kind of buffer. So our request will go and sit into the buffer in the sequential manner, and our request will be processed in the sequential manner. So this is called actually queuing. So the source application will send a message to the queue. Our destination application will pick that message. By putting and getting a message in the sequential manner, in the store and forward manner, is called actually a queuing. So this is called a message and queuing. Okay. So message queuing is nothing but which is a message plus a queuing is nothing but a message queuing. So when you are going to install MQ software, we have to define few objects. When you are going to define MQ server software, once after that one, we have to create few objects. Those objects are called queue manager, queue, channel, listener and services, process definition, name list, topic. Like that, there are few objects are existed. Each object has the different functionality. What is meant by queue manager? A queue manager is a runtime object which is a MQ server. It will provide the queuing services to the one or more clients. So what is a queue manager? A queue manager is a runtime object. It will provide the queuing services to one or more clients. So this is called queue manager. What is a queue? A queue is a safe place where we can store the messages. A queue is a buffer. A queue is a database structure. It has the capacity of store and forward mechanism. What is a channel? A channel is a communication link between queue manager to queue manager to queue manager. So MQ will provide that communication is point-to-point communication. MQ will provide the communication is called point-to-point communication. So what is a listener? A listener is a service of MQ, which is a service of MQ. It listens outside network request. It listens outside network request. This is called a listener. So does the listener having the one port number? So that port number will be using by the queue manager. Queue manager port number and listener port number are both are same only. So this listener should be associated to the one of the queue manager. So whatever the port number is using by the listener, that should be associated to the queue manager also. That is called a listener. What is a service? In MQ we can define a services under a queue manager. Under a queue manager we can define service, which is a definition of service. We can define our own services, and those services can run under the queue manager objects. Under the queue manager objects. So that is called service. A process definition. MQ having the facility which can provide the concept called a triggering. A triggering is an automated event. Whenever some specific condition satisfied on the queue level, so we are going to start an application, or we are going to start a channel is called actually a triggering. So MQ is providing that triggering facility so that we can able to invoke our application, or we can invoke our channel. So using that by sending the messages. In order to invoke a triggering concept, we have to define a process definition object. It contains which application we are going to start, which contains the path of which application we are going to start. Okay, so this is about the process definition. What is a name list? A group of object information will be existed. Group of object information will be existed. It contains group of object information. A topic will be used for the one-to-many communication. A topic is a string. A topic is a string. So it is used for the broadcasting purpose. Broad. Okay, this is about the topic. So these are the different types of objects which you are going to use into our MQ. So when you are going to communicate one business system to another business system, we have to install the MQ software, and after that one we have to create few objects so that we are able to communicate. So our application will talk to the MQ, MQ will talk to the another MQ, and another MQ will use that a destination application to pick your messages. So we will see the diagrammatically how we are going to use that MQ. Okay, let me take the new page and draw one diagram. I have one Java application. So this is my Java application, and I have one more application which is resides in outside the system, outside the different location. I mean it's a different location, which is SAP application. Now my requirement is Java want to talk to the SAP application. So as per my network, my environment, my client has suggested to use as a MQ an interface between the two different systems, two different applications like Java and SAP application. So what we have to do is, there are two different methods. Again, there are two different communication. There are two different software sources available, right? MQ server and MQ client. So which one you are going to use mechanism? So client and client cannot be communicated. Client and client cannot be communicate. Here they cannot communicate. Client to client cannot. Okay, but here we can able to communicate MQ server to MQ and MQ server to client and client to MQ. So this can be done here. The requirement is my client is suggested install MQ on both the systems. So I have installed MQ here, I have installed MQ here. Now MQ need to be communicated. I mean MQ means MQ server. Here I install MQ server, here also I install MQ server. Now I wanted to communicate MQ with MQ. So this communication is called actually intercommunication. So this communication is called intercommunication. Now when you are going to build an intercommunication setup, what are the required objects we have to define at the source side and destination side. So here we have MQ software is ready now. For example, this is our MQ software. So this is our MQ software. Now MQ they want to communicate each other. Now what are the objects we have to define? At the sender side we have to define first remote queue definition. So here we have to define first a remote queue definition, which is one object. Now I have to define one remote queue definition. So this is one kind of object. So for example, so this is a maybe remote queue definition. So while defining the remote queue definition, we have to specify the address of the destination. So remote queue definition having the address of the destination. So address here I am going to give in the remote queue definition remote queue manager name and R name, which is the target queue name where you are going to store the message, and XMIT queue name. So these three fields we have to specify into the remote queue definition. So after that we have to define one transmission queue. So whatever the name we are going to use into remote queue definition level, the same name of transmission queue name we used to create. So in real time scenario, the sender and receiver, whatever we are going to create here, my server name is queue manager 1, which is created now. This is a queue manager 2. Now I am going to define one XMIT queue. As per the naming standard, we will give the XMIT queue as a QM2, which is a remote queue manager. Now after that, at the sender side, we have to define one channel, which is a sender channel. My sender channel name is, I can use any name. This is my sender channel. While defining the sender channel, we have to specify the connection name. It's the destination IP address and port of the queue manager. Okay. Now we have done the source side communication. Let's go to the receiver side communication. Now my receiver side communication. So whatever the sender channel name we are going to use, the same name we have to specify here also. Okay. Now communication is established. So this kind of communication is called actually intercommunication. Now my Java application will send a message to the remote queue definition, right? My Java application is located in locally only. My Java is installed on local system, which is a server called some A server. The complete MQ and Java applications are located in the same server. Here if you see that SAP application and my MQ, which is located in the same system. So here I am going to create my local queue name, which is a target, whatever the target you are going to specify. Okay. Now my SAP application will go and fetch the data from here locally. This is called local communication. SAP application is locally connected to the target queue and it will go and pick the message. So this is about the intercommunication and local communication. When your application is sending a message to the queue, the message will be dividing into two parts. The messaging will be dividing into two parts. So the message two parts are called actually, one is MQMD and actual message. Okay, one is called MQMD and actual message. What is MQMD? MQMD is the descriptor about your message. So if I am sending a single message, the message will be dividing into two parts. One is MQMD, another one is message, actual message. So this is now message. My message is dividing into two parts. So the first one is MQMD, the second one is actual message. The MQMD is nothing but a descriptor about your message, data about the data. So message information will be put into this MQMD. So who is sending a message, what is the persistency, what is the message ID, what is the correlation ID, what is the offset, what is the segmentation, what is the group ID. All this information will be existed under MQMD. And rest of the part is called actual message. When my Java application is sending a message to the remote queue definition, my remote queue definition having address again, RQM name, RName and XMITQ, right? This field also will be added to your message. And the now message will come and sit into the XMITQ. Now here again message will be dividing into the one more extra part, that is transmission queue header, which is a queue header. So here again the message will be dividing into three parts, that is called XMITQ header, XMITQ MQMD. Actual header along with that XMITQ header also. Now again three parts. Once the message has arrived to the transmission queue will be listening by the channel. So whatever the center channel we have configured now, so this center channel will be trying to pick a message from the transmission queue. Once the message has been taken by the channel, my channel will try to post your message into over the network. Okay. Now message will be transferring to the destination. In a destination, we have a receiver channel. Now receiver channel will identify that one, whether that recipient is intended recipient or not. So whether we are receiving that correct person from the message or not. So that can be verified by the receiver channel, and he will post that message, whatever the network which is sending, right? So that message will be taken care by the receiver, and he will post that message to the particular destination. So this is how the real time applications will be communicated. So here Java application and SAP application both are different applications. So using MQ we are going to be integrate to different business systems. So MQ will simplifying that integration of two business systems. So here we are talking about only two business systems. In real time, in enterprise business systems, they have thousands of applications. So all the 1,000 applications can able to communicate using as MQ interface between the two different business systems. So one system to another system they wanted to communicate. So we need an interface. So to understand, to communicate two different business systems. Okay, if Java want to talk to the SAP application, if you do not have a MQ, I have to prepare an adapter, I have to prepare an interface to understand the Java and SAP application. So that is so much a waste of time actually. So due to that one, if you are not able to, if you do not have a MQ, if you want to prepare an adapter, it will cost you so much actually. It is so much expensive. Okay, and even though the development delivery, so what are the projects which are going to deliver, the delivery of time also will be, it will take so long time. Okay, so if you are using as MQ, development task, what are the development which are going to be deliver their projects, they can deliver very fast, because you no need to prepare any new adapters. You are just using as a which is a plug and play kind of thing actually. Simply you can use MQ and you can able to communicate to different business system. So most of the things actually why we are using MQ means integration how much easy, even decoupling also very easy. Coupling and decoupling also very easy. Now till yesterday Java application is trying to communicate SAP. Now tomorrow Java want to talk to some different program, a different application. It can be possible. Even SAP also want to talk to different programming language, a different application, which is possible using MQ. How integration is a possibility is there. The same way even decoupling, de-integration also very easy to, so that now MQ which is a very popular tool. So I hope you understand this concept. So why we are going to use an MQ. So I am very happy to train you people. So I am going to show you now the course curriculum, which is a course content. So what we are going to be discussing into the next sessions. So that will be which is a one template I have. It will show you that, which is one kind of blueprint. So it will tell you that. So what are the topics we are going to cover into that next sessions. So which is I have prepared that course content, and this is 25 hours. So which we are going to be complete our MQ administration course. So it will cover that MQ 7.0 and 7.5, even 8.0 versions. There are three different versions will be covering, and we are going to see into that distributed environment, Linux, Windows, and Solaris systems. We are going to see the installation part and administration part also. See that what is MQ, which is will be brief about introduction of MQ, and next we will see that MQ installation and uninstallation, and MQ objects, which is major objects we are going to be discussed, queue manager, queues, and types of communication. We have seen that local communication, intercommunication, multi-hopping alias queue manager, and clustering and client server communication, data queue, which is very important topic, and security. So we will be discussing security very deeply, and the cold start of queue manager, and there are so many things so which will be covering during our sessions. So I am sure actually it will cover that 100% of MQ training, MQ administration. So you need not to worry about, once completion of training you will able to do that MQ administration with experience of 4+ experience. Who doesn't know that even basics of MQ also, who doesn't know that even knowledge of IT or non-IT background also, so they can able to train, they can able to get this MQ training, and they can get the good job in market. Okay, so I am going to be discussing the today's sessions, so we'll continue from the tomorrow. So thank you for your joining. So you can reach me from here. Here you can see that my email ID and my mobile number. So you can reach me for any time, and so further course materials and software, and what are that soft copy I can provide through that Google Drive. So you can get it from there, and if you need any kind of assistance, I will provide you. So thanks once again. So I am going to be discussing the today's session.